back to another video. You join me on a little bit of a reconnaissance mission. I'm in a bit of a wild place, and as per usual, I'm not far from the city centre, but I'm checking out a place to check out. So Connor, I hope you're watching. Now, where are we? Let's have a look. And here we are. So this is the Moss Brook that I brought you to. Do you remember this video I did and this hole in the wall with the Moss Brook coming out of it? Well, I've found it further upstream. Now, one of the things that keeps striking me about these things I read about Old Manchester is, or Old Manchester maybe pre-1850, is that it was wild cloughs and dells. And here we go, a wild clough. Well, the Moss Brook briefly makes an appearance here, and then I think goes back into a tunnel. I'm just having a quick look at it for me and Connor. Can't see where it goes down there, but you can see we're in a wild clough or a dell. There's a little tunnel here. Probably would have been better coming down that way, really, because I could have got a closer look here. Might just do that. Here we go. There it is. Just wrecking the joint. So I'm just coming down on the other side of the brook now. There's the actual tunnel bit. So there's the top of the tunnel. And I was stood over there before, so I've just come to this side to see if I can get a better look down there of where the brook actually goes, its little route. But it's proving to be very difficult. This is wild down here. We're just in North Manchester. We're actually in a place called Harper Hay. But I'm in a clough, a little dell, and it's so overgrown I can't see anything apart from mushrooms. Now, one thing I've got on is my boots, my big boots. So let's have a look down that little tunnel there. I have a feeling the gate on it is open. I'll just use the tree and we'll go in here. It kind of goes in like a little bend that way, probably some sort of sewer overflow or something like that, although it's clean water that's coming out, I think, but too small to climb down, and I'm not going down that. So well, worth a look. Satisfied my curiosity. I don't know if I'll be coming back here anytime soon to walk that little bit of the brook. Maybe find out where it goes further down there, downstream, because I know it enters another tunnel downstream. Amazing though how it obviously would have at one time ran open and free, and these cloughs have been buried over, probably built upon and the brook is right down below in a little brick tunnel, or a tunnel buried and lost forever there. Probably 18th century kids played in the brook when it was open back in the day. Let's head on to Manchester city centre now. Just down on Key Street in Manchester, recording another one of Manchester's buildings that is biting the dust forever. Now apparently this area here, and the reason the building is being pulled down, is because this is going to be called St John's. And I've been talking to the chaps that are overseeing it up there, who are part of the development people, builders, and where I'm stood now, apparently it's going to be a 53-storey building. So quite interesting for me, because quite often you forget what these places are like, what they were like before they built the skyscrapers. It's like the Beetham Tower at the bottom of Deansgate in Manchester. I can't for the life of remember me what was there before they built the Beetham Tower. So it's good to come down here and just record this before they build the St John's sort of complex. It's going to be sort of studios, a gym, shopping, that kind of thing.
Now what they're actually trying to do there is they're trying to save that clock. They're talking about taking the clock off and putting it maybe in the reception of one of the new buildings that is eventually going to stand here. So that'd be quite nice. Be nice of them if they'd saved the whole frontage of that building, really, to be honest with you. But apparently it's only mock Art Deco. It's not actually genuine Art Deco.
So as we've just been there on Key Street, I thought we'd come down round the corner to see if that bridge is open yet. I'm quite sure that it's not open yet. It's windy and it's raining, by the way. I'm hoping there's no rain on the lens. If you'll forgive today's low production values, I've been working a lot and I've not had a chance to make a full-on video. So this is just a little bit of a walk round vlog type video. Probably the sort of thing I did about a year ago, really. But we're heading towards the Odsal Cord, and we're going to see if the little footbridge is open that you'll eventually be able to walk along to look at George Stephenson's bridge. Now, I made a video all about this, and I'll put the thumbnail here now. And that video was about me talking about the new Odsal Cord, the railway extension, and how eventually we'll be going to be able to walk along the little footbridge and look at the original George Stephenson's bridge that brought the first passenger railway into Manchester across the River Irwell. So alas, it's still not open. Waiting for that footbridge to open there so we can look at the bridge, although you can see the bridge now quite well from here. But as you can see, it's still a bit of a building site at the moment. And I've been waiting since January, and it's now August, for this thing to open. The bridge has been in place for months, but I'm sure it'd be quite nice when it's done, but when? Anyway, just up here is something I want to show you again. I keep coming across these little things. I'm going to show you something here that I was going to put in another video a while ago but never did. It's just a small detail on the side of the road. So just come up here with me underneath that bridge and I want to show you something. So this is Water Street in Manchester. There is the first passenger railway station in the world. It came from Liverpool, came in there into Liverpool Road in Manchester, and that bridge was replaced in the 1900s. Can't remember right now, I'll put the date down below for you. Now the bridge that was here before this one was a proper grand affair, built by George Stephenson himself, and he had these columns that spanned across the road along here. And it wasn't until a few months ago I was just walking up Water Street and I looked on the floor and I saw these markings on the road, and I thought, they're the columns, the Doric columns that mark where they were from the original bridge.
Now, just in case you're thinking, what on earth are you going on about? That's the current bridge that was put there in 1904, but it replaced a former, much grander bridge, and I'll show you now. This is the former bridge here. I don't know why they replaced that, because it was beautiful. See the green arrow pointing to the columns, the Doric columns? Well, they've gone now, but it had lovely columns on it. But when you walk along underneath the current bridge where we are now and look at the ground, you can see here, look at that, they've actually marked where the columns were, and that's what they are. If you find yourself on Water Street in Manchester, that's what those sort of plates on the ground are about. They mark the place of the original columns from the original bridge.
There's actually a plaque here telling you what they're about, that I am actually right, and I've just seen the plaque, and honestly I didn't cheat, I didn't know what they were, but in case you need to know, there's a plaque here telling you all about the fact that they do mark where the Doric columns were. Right, I'm just coming around the corner from Water Street now. This is Potato Wharf, and I'm looking for something. I'm actually doing a little bit of a reconnaissance mission, a little bit of homework for the Medlock series, so maybe I shouldn't be showing you this, but I need to find something that has fascinated me for a long time, and it's quite famous in Manchester, but I've never seen it, and I really need to find it. And if I find it, I'll show it you. Here's the Medlock, by the way. This will be one of the episodes when we get round to it. I so want to talk about the Medlock right now, but I can't, because this will probably be episode 7 or 8 or something.
Found it, finally. The Giants Basin. Now this is a wonderful piece of, was it to be Georgian engineering? James Brindley built this, where the chief engineer from the Bridgewater Canal. This is the Giants Basin, and what it is, it's an overflow for the Bridgewater Canal. Bridgewater Canal, basically, in times of higher water, overflows here, as you can see, into this big basin, if you like, plug hole, whatever you want to call it. Overflows there, and then that is 7 meters deep, and eventually it runs down into that little tunnel and rejoins the Medlock. Now I will go into it in more detail, because I've been trying to work out exactly what is going on, because it's quite a really good piece of engineering. So I'll go into it more in the River Medlock series, and we'll look at the whole area in much more depth. But basically this was just, I needed to come down and find it so I knew where it was, ready for when I carry on with my Medlock series. I'm following the River Medlock basically through Manchester.
Amazing. I really need to crack on with that Medlock series and get this filmed and tell the story of this thing, because it truly is amazing. James Brindley's masterpiece.
And there's the Ox Noble pub, which stands just on the edge of Potato Wharf, where they used to unload potatoes back in the canal days. And an Ox Noble is a type of potato. Don't know if you knew that, maybe you did, but there you go, interesting fact for you.
Now this here, that is a mock-up of the Roman fort that used to be here in Castlefield. But like I say, it's only a mock-up. Let me just take you down to street level and I'll tell you something. There is a piece of the original Roman fort, and I think it's round here, that is under one of the railway arches, and it's when they built the railway arches over the original Roman fort, there was a piece left. Now yes, you've guessed it, it's a piece of old Collier sandstone that they used to build the Roman fort, and it's very to look at, it's very uninteresting. It's probably, I think it's named as one of the most uninteresting Roman relics in Britain. I think it's these arches here, and somewhere if we could get in, like I say, it's just a lump of red sandstone embedded in the ground. So I think it's in one of these. Oh, it's supposed to be under one of these, inside one of these railway arches. The book I've read was, I think it was the stuff was written in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and it describes a wood yard with an archway, or a wood yard that is in an archway, and inside there is a piece of the Roman fort that's still there, the only bit left, because a lot of it got robbed obviously in the medieval times to build other things, but I think underneath one of these arches is the remains of the old Roman fort. Who knows? And we can't get in, so unfortunately I can't tell you. I will show you, I'll crib a picture out of the book and I'll show you what we're talking about, because it is completely uninteresting to look at, but when you know what it is, it's actually fascinating.
And that's it. Not exactly impressive, is it? But that lump there behind the brick wall is a piece of the original Roman fort that was here in Castlefield. Now, black and white picture, it is red sandstone. Pity that we can't have access to that. I think we should be able to go and see it, even though it's not particularly very appealing. And when they were building the railways, the Earl of Ellesmere owned the land, and what he said to the railway companies was, the arches for the railways has to fall over that piece of rock, because he knew its importance, so he made sure that they did the calculations and the arches went over it. And also he asked them to put little castellations on the great big railway viaduct as a bit of a nod to the Roman history in the Castlefield area. So yes, there you go, that's the best picture I can get of it. I've took that out of the book, but even though, like I say, it's not very interesting, I still think we should have access to that and to be able to go and look at it and see a little bit of our history in Castlefield.
So as we've just come down from Castlefield sort of way, I decided to pop down here to Little Peter Street. That building there, the Boardwalk, famous Madchester nightclub. Well, I went in there in about 1988, completely starstruck one night.
So why was I starstruck? Well, I'll tell you in a moment. Back to the 80s time. Do you remember this? And that is how I remember the 80s. It was all about the music. Forget the fashion, it was all about the music for me. Anyway, about 1988, I goes to the Boardwalk, don't I? That's what I was telling you. Went to see a factory band called A Certain Ratio. Really into them at the time. Anyway, I'll carry on with the story, but greeted at the door by one of the guys from the band called Martin Moscrop. I'll go back to the club and I'll tell you the story.
Greeted at the door by Martin Moscrop out of the band, who gave me and my mate some t-shirts and asked us to wear them. We were like, oh my god, amazing. And then when we got in there, went upstairs to the bar area, having a drink. And if you remember a group called Swing Out Sister, do you remember them? Well, Corinne Drury, who was the lead singer, was stood at one side of the bar talking to Peter Hook. I'm in there, 18 years old, mind blown, completely starstruck, thought I was really down with the kids and down with the stars. Anyway, the Boardwalk is no more, it is apartments now, but great to come back here and just see it and see the plaque on the side of it. Should be part of the Blue Plaque series, shouldn't it? So there you go, from some of the oldest buildings in Manchester to some of the newest buildings in Manchester, and that's where we'll leave the video for now. Sorry about very much old style for me, sort of video I was doing about a year ago, but sometimes I just like to get out and about, have a walk around and look at things that are in my mind that don't fit into complete videos. And also, like I said, I've been working a lot recently, so it's been difficult to get a full-on video out. So nice to do this sort of little thing every now and again. Hope you don't mind it being a short video and just a little bit of a mishmash of things. Take care, and I shall see you very soon in the next video.